Hi, John. I'm Cheryl Martinez from American Income Life Insurance Company. I talked to you yesterday about your insurance benefits for your brother Mark with the FLP. By the way, is Mary here? These benefits apply to her as well. Do you mind if we sit at the table? Because I have to go over your benefits with the both of you. John, if you don't mind, you can sit here, and Mary, you can sit here, and I'll go ahead and sit here. Now, did you talk with Mark to find out what he's done for you and your family and why I'm here today? Okay, I will back up and fill you in on what's going on. As you know, your brother Mark is a member of the FLP. I don't know if you're familiar with the unions like the firemen, the electricians, the Teamsters, and the federal employees, but I am sure that you've heard that they have some of the best benefits out there, right? AIL is the unionized company that provides the benefits for all these unions and the associations. Mark is a member in good standing with the FLP and AIL, and he was allowed to extend some of his American income benefits to his family members and those close to him. Do you know the difference between your temporary benefits and your permanent benefits? Well, we all have great benefits through work, but when we leave, quit, or retire from our jobs, we lose all or a bulk of our benefits within 31 days. However, your brother Mark did an amazing thing for you guys. If you qualify today, you will now have permanent benefits that will follow you, and no one can ever take these away from you. So make sure and thank him. John, what do you do for work? How long have you been doing that? Mary, where do you work? How long have you been there? Now, here's a copy of the letter from the FLP that the FLP members received. Like the letter says, my job is to bring by your benefits and explain your options. When I'm finished, they'll have you fill out this report card. This will go back to the FLP so that they know that I've been here and I've done my job. Is that fair? As the letter explains, they have me here for 3 reasons: to inform you about the food banks, to explain the benefit package your brother Mark qualified you for, to see if you qualify for anything permanent that they have set up for their members and their families. Now, let me ask you, has either of you ever been laid off or unemployed? The reason I ask that is American Income collects food for members in a time of need. The way that they keep the food banks working is that when we're at the member's home, they ask us if you'd like to donate a can or 2 of food or some dry goods. If that's something you would like to do, just remind me before I leave. John and Mary, this is your A&D, Accidental Death and Dismemberment Certificate. This covers you when you die in any type of accident. American Income is the company that covers this benefit for you. It's non-contributory, non-participating, which means you don't have to pay for it or qualify for it because Marcus has sent this to you already. It's already been taken care of. Pretty nice, huh? Verify here who you want to be your beneficiary. I'll put the certificate in your folder so when something happens to you, we'll have proof of it. Does that make sense? This is your health services discount card. It is not health insurance. This card is no cost and will give you discounts on vision, prescriptions, hearing, and chiropractic services. Here's the service number. This website also lists the providers in your area. Go ahead and fill out this middle section. They will send you a card, or you can go online and they'll send you a card and you can start receiving the discounts. Pretty nice, huh? Now, these are the Child Safe ID kits. Are you familiar with the Amber Alerts? Please. And our communities are actively searching for over 2,300 children each and every day. This is a vital tool. Heaven forbid something happens to your children. Some things you need to write down in pencil, like the height and the weight. You update the pictures on the special occasions like the holidays, birthdays, or their school pictures. Please make sure to fingerprint them. The middle section is a place for all distinguishing features, birthmarks, scars, glasses, or braces. Now, on the back is just some important information for the parents. Do you see how important this is for all the children? Exactly. So you have a will set up, right? This is your family information guide. It is not a will, but it is so important to fill this out for when something happens to you. Your family will know exactly what to do. After you fill this out, you want to put it in a safe place here at your home. There's one for each of you. On top is where you put your vital information, your name, your birthday, social security. Have either one of you ever been in the military? Thank you for your service for our country. Please, the persons to be notified, this is the most important part. Did you know that millions of dollars of life insurance goes unclaimed each year because the family doesn't know what insurance company it is, and the insurance company can't find the beneficiaries? So what we're trying to tell you here is we want you to put down 5 people each that are in the local area so that when something happens to you, your family knows what to do. So put your top 5 key people in the local area in the event of an emergency or death. Your estate information goes here. You do have life insurance outside of work, right? This part is for your financial institution's information. Do you use a checking or a savings? List that information here, because when you die, someone in your family has to close your accounts. Here is where you put your funeral service and final request. This is very important. Have either of you ever had to plan a funeral? Do you want a cremation or a burial? Either way, it's very expensive. Remind me before I go. Part of the program takes care of all your final expenses, but you will need to qualify. Do you see how important this guide is? Now, because Mark is a member in good standing with the FLP, they're allowing you to extend the same no-cost benefit package to people in your life that are close to you. Okay, so we're able to extend and your family a $2,000 AD&D certificate, health service discount card, family information guide, and the child safe ID kits of their own. Now they do have to qualify. They have to be over 21. They need to live in Texas and be employed. Most members extend this to their brothers, their sisters, their parents, and close friends. How many adult brothers and sisters do you have? Who's the oldest? What's the first name? Who's next? What's your father's name? What's your mother's name? How many adult children do you have over 21? Who's the oldest? What members have children for the child safe ID kits? Who else? Now, they need their mailing address to get this out to them. Let's start with your brothers and sisters. What's John's address? You do text, right? Okay, I'm going to send you a text. Let me know when you get it. Go ahead and forward that text to everyone you send these great benefits to. That way, they'll have a heads up. I'll wait. The text is going to say, I was able to sponsor some of my American Income Insurance benefits made available through FLP to you. My rep, Cheryl Martinez, will be following up to give you some details. Her phone number is 915-820-1737. Since your brother, John, lives in the area, go ahead and give him a call so we can fill him in. I'll wait while you do that. When the call is answered, I will tell him, hi, this is Cheryl with American Income. We do many of the permanent benefits for the police officers, the firefighters, the veterans. I'm sitting here with your other brother, Mark Jr., and he's arranged for you to receive a no-cost AD&D policy and benefit package. My job is to get it delivered to you so that you have it for your records and know what to do when something happens. There's a certificate of coverage that I need to drop off to you along with some benefits he was able to recommend for you. It's very important. What's the best time to drop this off to you and your wife? Oh, I better check. Do you live at 108 Vista Del Rey? Great. What shifts are you on? Okay, I have Tuesday available at 6 or 7. Which works best for you and your wife? John and Mary, since you didn't find out exactly what your brother did for you, I'll back up a little bit. Now, as they mentioned in the letter, there's a program they've set up for the members. In fact, this is the Labor Advisory Board. It consists of 54 international labor and association leaders. That's very important because all they do is help advise and make recommendations as to where the gaps are in the benefits and what benefits people need. They've asked us to read this letter to each of the members, and since Mark sponsored you, I'll read Mark's letter. You see, the reason they were chosen to do the program for the unions is because they realize that typically 31 days after you leave your job, get laid off, or retire, you can lose all your insurance benefits or they greatly reduce. These are permanent and portable insurance benefits, and if you qualify, you get to keep them for the rest of your life. Pretty nice, huh? In fact, they just don't work with the firefighters, the police, and the teachers. They work with over 40,000 groups. We are A+ rated, and we have over 5 million members enrolled. So we must be doing something right, wouldn't you say? But just because your brother Mark extended these benefits to you doesn't mean you're automatically allowed to enroll. You do have to qualify. If you're too high risk, they can't let you in. So they have asked me a couple of questions just to make sure. Have either one of you had any arrests, including DWIs? Have either of you used any tobacco or marijuana in the last 12 months? Do you take any prescription medicines? Have either one of you had any health issues in your lifetime? Any family history of cancer, diabetes, or heart disease? Based on what you told me, I'm not sure if you qualified yet, but you do have a chance, so I can at least explain the benefits to you. The needs analysis determines the need based on 3 things: your family situation, the benefits you already have, and income. So what they have me do is ask you some questions, okay, to see what you might qualify for. John and Mary, did Mark fill you in on the Our Power program? He didn't. Our Power is a very old principle that says members should take the first 2 hours of their weekly wage and set it aside to protect themselves and their family's future. Now, 2 hours of your wage a week is roughly 1/20th of your income, right? And that's not going to change your lifestyle any, is it? Of course not. Any financial planner would tell you to set aside 10 to 15% of your income. Your program is based on 2 hours, which is only 5%, so all the members can afford it. Now, provided that you qualify, they'll allow you to set aside between $20 and $100 a week. Every member has different situations and different hourly wages. What I am obligated to do is show you what setting aside your 2 hours combined will do and what kind of protection that will provide. Then when I'm done, the FLP would like your opinion on this report card, and it goes directly back to them. Is that fair? So, John, what do you make an hour? And Mary, what do you make an hour? Now, what I'm going to do is show you what setting aside $100 a week will do for your family. Just like any other enrollment period, provided you can qualify, there are forms that need to be filled out in person while I am here. And that's not something that we can do later or go over the phone. So please be sure to stop me anytime if you have any questions. Is that fair? Now, the Labor Advisory Board is concerned with 3 major areas. Number 1, accidental injuries. Number 2, your final expenses. Number 3, your paycheck protection. The first area that they're going to be concerned with is any type of accident. Have either one of you thought about what you will do when you get injured in an accident? Well, the Labor Advisory Board and American Income have given a lot of thought. Their concern isn't that your medical bills won't be taken care of. You have health insurance to take care of that. When it's job related, then workman's compensation is there, and a lot of members have some form of disability. What they're concerned about is your lost wages and other expenses that start adding up. John, when you end up in the hospital, even though your medical bills are taken care of, no one pays you to be there. Mary, when you obviously get that phone call, you won't be working either, and vice versa. God forbid if something happens to one of your kids, in that case, no one's working, right? Well, John, when you, Mary, or your kids get hurt and have to go to the emergency room, they're going to send you a check up to $150 for just taking the time to go get the injury looked at. That's for any type of accident, whether you scrape your knee, need stitches on or off the job. That money comes to you here at home. The only exception to that is when you have to stay overnight in the hospital. They're going to send you $300 a day up to a full year. That is $2,100 a week. Now, let me ask you, when that money comes in, will that help your family? Of course it will. Now, the only exception to that is when you have to stay in intensive care. They're going to send you $600 a day for 2 full weeks. The reason why is that is $4,200 a week, because Normally, if you're in intensive care, it's a life or death situation. Does that make sense? Now, the second area they're concerned with is your final expenses. Now, John, who's going to be responsible for taking care of your funeral and your final expenses when something happens? Now, let me ask either one of you, have you ever had to plan a funeral? The reason I ask, it's a very serious problem. Now, the concern is not that you're going to die, because we're all going to die, right? But when someone in our family dies, somebody has to face the funeral director immediately. Mary, that's probably going to be you. And the funeral directors these days require all or the bulk of our money up front on the spot before they do anything. Or they at least want to know where the money's going to come from. Did you realize that? A lot of people don't. So while your family is waiting for life insurance to come in and to take care of things, who has to take care of these things? That's right, the family. Mary, they either have you take money out of the savings, or worse yet, you have to borrow the money. Does that make sense? Now what I've done is set up a Freedom of Choice certificate to take care of your final expenses. If you qualify, you will receive your own certificate that looks just like this. Now, we call it Freedom of Choice because it's good at any funeral home. The way this works is when something happens to you, John, then Mary, you take the certificate to any funeral home, you choose, and the funeral director looks at it and says, I'm really sorry for your loss. John's funeral is going to be $11,000. How would you like to take care of that today? At that point, you say, John has the freedom of choice. Everything is taken care of from that point on. John, in your case, I've set aside $15,000. Mary, in your case, I've set aside $15,000 to take care of your funeral and your final expenses. What's not used at the funeral will be sent to the beneficiary. Now, let me ask you, John and Mary, isn't it nice to finally have this taken care of? Exactly. Each of the kids are covered for $10,000 benefit each that can be converted to $50,000 at age 21, regardless of their health or their habits, that they can keep for the rest of their life. Pretty nice, huh? Now, the only exception to this is when you die before age 65, it's typically in some type of accident, right? John, when you die, when something happens to you and in any type of accident, not only will we immediately take care of all your final expenses, but we're going to send your family an additional check for $30,000 to help out during that time. When you die in an accident, what type of accident will it probably be? A car accident, right? In that case, we're going to send your family an additional $50,000 plus to take care of all the final expenses on top of the $15,000 freedom of choice. And when you're traveling in a common carrier like a plane, train, bus, anything that is a fare-paying passenger, we're going to send an additional $150,000 to the family. Each of your children are covered for 20% of the parents for those same accidental deaths. Does that make sense? The third problem that they're concerned about is your paycheck. John, you're on your way home from work and you get killed in a car accident or pass away from a stroke or heart attack. Is your paycheck going to keep coming to support Mary and the family? Of course not. Your paycheck vanishes just like that. But by taking care of the family, putting food on the table, paying the bills, those all stay pretty much the same. So, Mary, the bills keep coming and month after month, and John's paycheck's gone, right? But let me ask you, do you have life insurance? Right. Hopefully 10 times your salary. The FLP realizes that all members do have life insurance, but here's what happens in a typical situation. You die, your family immediately starts dipping into those lump sums, first for reimbursement of your burial and miscellaneous expenses, and then because your paychecks have stopped coming in, you have to keep dipping into your savings to pay bills and put food on the table. And then a year or two later, what happens to all that money, right? Boom, it's completely disappeared and is gone. So here's your paycheck protection or your readjustment income. John, when something happens to you, you're going to start sending Mary a check for $3,000 a month for the next 3 years. Now, the reason we choose 3 years is because it's a decent amount of time to adjust. A couple of months or a year is just not enough time. Does that make sense? Now, what they're going to do in your case, John, when Mary dies, we're going to send you $2,000 a month for the first year. That's enough. That's to help you readjust and your family to readjust. Do you think this would give your family time to readjust? Of course it will. Now, Mary, you'll be in a position that when that does happen, or when John dies, that you can take that money and you can get it invested for the future, your children's education, and retirement. Does that make sense? And Mary, when something happens to John, you will receive $3,000 a month for 3 years. Now, this money and the freedom of choice does build an emergency fund. After four years, if things ever get tight financially, there will be some money to help take care of your program that time so you don't lose it. There are also paid up benefits. So when you retire, you can stop contributing to the program and keep a reduced paid up final expense benefit for the rest of your life. Pretty nice, huh? We also have a terminal illness rider. Have either one of you ever thought about when you're diagnosed with a terminal illness? Well, we put a lot of thought into that. In fact, we realize you're going to need a lot of cash. When you're diagnosed with terminal illness and not expected to live more than 12 months, we're going to send you half of the final expense and your paycheck protection, and then we'll send the other half when you pass away. Now, we also have a strike and a layoff clause, so you don't lose your program. In fact, in case of a union strike, we will take care of your insurance benefits for up to 1 year. You never have to pay it back. John, even if you can't work for just 1 day of a strike, we'll take care of those benefits for the month. Okay? And if you can't work for a week, we'll take care of those benefits for a month. If you can't work for 2 months due to a strike, we'll take care of them for 2 months. We'll take care of them for up to 12 months. And on layoffs, as long as you've been working for 12 months, we'll take care of your program up to 3 months, and you never have to pay it back. Also, the insurance benefits are guaranteed and they're non-cancelable, which means if you qualify, no matter what happens in the future to your health, your age, or your habits, no one can ever take this away from you. Does that make sense? Now, let's review. I have showed you what setting aside 2 hours will do for your family. Let's review to make sure it's clear. Your accidental injury benefits are there for your family. Your freedom of choice certificate covers you, Mary, and the children for any cause of death, and there until it needs to be used, okay? Your paycheck protection, all these protections on the side here are good no matter what happens moving forward. You never have to lose these benefits after today. Even if you change jobs, you get very sick, or you move. Again, can you see why this is so important for your family? Now, my job, because of what your brother Mark from the FLP did for you, is to give you an opportunity to get enrolled in what you qualify for. The best part is they set this up like a payroll deduction, but that it's taken out of your checking account once a month. That way, when you change jobs or retire, you never have to worry about losing the insurance benefits because they're under your control, not your employers or unions. Pretty nice, huh? John and Mary, let's face it, we're all going to die. We don't have a choice. Either we deal with this now, or someone in our immediate family, our spouse, brother, sister, or child will have to deal with this when something happens. Does this make sense? Now, you'll have to answer some medical questions to see if you qualify, but probably the most important question is, I need to ask you, when something happens to the both of you, say in a bad car wreck, there will be a little over $325,000. Who do you want the money to go to? Now, it doesn't make a difference to them which program you try to qualify for. Most families try to qualify for the 2 hours combined, $100 a week, which is what I went over with you. Some families ask if they could do more and set aside more for the family and double their benefits, which would be $200 a week. Or sometimes members choose a more basic program just to get started, and they know they will upgrade down the road. which would be 1 hour of your pay, which is $50 a week. Which way would you like to go? While you're thinking about this, which option makes the most sense, I'll go ahead and ask you some medical questions to make sure you can qualify. Thank you.